If frugality seems really hard to you, it might just be time to change your mind.
Are we saying give up on frugality? No, but maybe it's time to give up on some of the misconceptions that are out there about frugality.
In this video, we'll talk about those lies that you might be telling yourself about frugality and explain along the way why when you face those misconceptions, it's actually going to allow you to save even more money.
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
Let's get right into it. This was a fun video for us to write together, guys, because we had to talk about the misconceptions that we ourselves have had about frugality.
Oh, yes.
Number one, you can't be frugal if you have a family.
You know, I can see why people would think that.
The first thing you need to do is sort of get rid of any facts and figures that you have heard touted from the U.S. government as to how much it costs to raise a child. Tell us your guesses in the comments section. How much do you think the government says it's going to cost you to raise a child from age 0 to age 18? Well, we looked it up. In 2022, that figure was $288,000 per child. I don't have any words to even describe what I think or feel about that figure. It's absolutely and completely and utterly blown out of proportion. Does it really cost that to raise a child? No, we didn't spend anywhere near that amount of money to raise any one of our 4 kids, and probably all 4 of them combined.
I wonder who they're surveying to get that kind of a figure, because most of us, I don't think, could even think of laying out that kind of money. It'd be interesting if we had added up what it actually did cost us to raise a family, but I'm certain it would come way under that government statistic.
The truth is, there are so many ways that you can live frugally and save money, even though you are raising children. And there are ways that you can cut way, and I do mean way back on that government statistic of $288,000 per child.
You know, as we had more children, we got really good at knowing how to cut costs and find ways to save money on every aspect, everything from diapers, clothing, anything that you need to buy for very young children to even older children. There's so many ways once you put on that creative thinking cap. Hope and I raised 4 boys in a very small 2-bedroom home. So we had to enroll ourselves in the college of make do. What we did was, buying another house that would have been larger was not an option for us while we were raising those kids. So we decided, how can we make this 2-bedroom home work to get 4 kids and a dog and 2 adults housed? One of the things that we did was we converted a family room to a bedroom. So we had 2 bedrooms. Now we have 3 bedrooms. 2 of the boys then could go into that 3rd bedroom, and 2 boys in the other bedroom, and of course Hope and I in the 3rd bedroom. So 3 bedrooms, 2 kids each. And what's kind of funny is that even when we upgraded the house, we didn't buy a 4-bedroom house. We bought another 3-bedroom home.
We lived in that tiny home for 18 years while we saved up to pay cash for the home in which we currently live. The boys were ages 14 to 2 when we bought the house that we currently live in. If you want some ideas on how you can cut your expenses in order to reach a great big goal, because for us, that was probably the biggest goal that we have ever reached in 35 years of marriage, is saving up to pay cash for this house.
Certainly.
If you're in that boat and you're thinking, I got some goals, I really need some ideas of how I can cut expenses, we wrote a book. It's 10 ways to radically reduce your expenses. And we used all 10 of these methods when we were saving up to pay cash for the house. If you'd like to get your hands on that ebook, it's free, and I'll make sure that there's a link in the description of this video.
Myth number 2 is you can't be frugal on a low income. Well, I think that's the most important time to be frugal. Those are the people that need to do it the most.
Here's what we tell people all the time. Just because you're low income doesn't give you a pass on frugality. Just because you're low income, it doesn't give you a pass on budgeting. Just because you're low income, you don't get a pass on setting goals. In fact, and remember, we were low income for decades when we first got married.
Yeah.
The truth is, those of you who are low income, you need budgeting, frugality, and goal setting more than anybody else.
Absolutely, because it is more of a precision deal to make your budget work when you have less money to work with.
And remember, if you want ideas from us who have been in that boat and down that road, make sure that you get yourself a free copy of the ebook, 10 Ways to Radically Reduce Your Expenses.
Here's another interesting myth.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those gotcha kind of myths. If I'm frugal, I'm going to get rich quick. Not. Can we say not? Frugality does not necessarily become a get-rich plan.
You have to remember that frugality for us, we've discovered, is kind of low and slow.
Yes.
You do a lot of things over a long period of time to save small amounts of money over a long period of time. And after a period of time, it really does add up to significant savings. But it's not something that you're going to turn around in 3 or 6 months and find yourself, you've gotten yourself out of debt, or you've become a millionaire, or anything like that. It is not get rich quick.
It's certainly a long-term, slow process. And, you know, along with that, if you try to do something like this too quick, you'll get frustrated, you'll hit a wall, and you'll quit.
Myth number 4. If I'm frugal, I must buy the cheapest thing every time.
Now, we've talked about this a lot on previous videos. We are not proponents of buying super cheap merchandise. In fact, I think we're pretty much the opposite. It's a matter of cutting it down to exactly and precisely what you need. So if you cut out 10 little items that don't cost a lot, that are not well made, that maybe you don't need all that bad, you cut that down to 2 high quality items that perfectly fit your needs. You're going to be much better off. You're not going to spend as much money, and those items are probably going to last you longer.
Here's the next one. And we had so much fun writing this script, guys, and coming up with these, what do people tell themselves? This one we have heard before as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to suffer. I will never enjoy life again.
We've heard that from so many different people, mostly from people who don't understand frugality and haven't attempted it. I don't think we've heard it too much from our frugal friends like you guys. But that is a myth, that if you're frugal, you're not going to have any enjoyment. You're just going to suffer through life on barely get along street next to Grumble Alley.
One of the things that we have taught our kids is when they make a statement to think about the ultimate ramifications of that statement. And if you've made this statement, I'm never going to enjoy life again if I'm frugal, just think about that for a minute. What you're saying is any experience that is worth having in life must cost money.
Yeah.
And that clearly and simply is not true. There are so many things you can do to enjoy life without spending a lot of money. Having said that, are we saying that you should never spend money? You should never go on a family trip. You should never go out to eat. You should never treat yourself to pretty much anything.
You should never go out on that boat.
Never go out on the boat. No, we're not saying that at all. For us, frugality has never been about deprivation. I think that's the heart of this myth that we're dealing with right now, is the fact that when you say, I'm never going to have fun again if I'm frugal, what you are believing is the myth that really ultimately frugality is equal to deprivation. It's not. We've been very frugal in a number of areas of our life so that we can ultimately afford to spend money on things that are super important to us.
In fact, I think the opposite of this statement that we read is absolutely true. Rather than suffering through life, frugality helps you live a lot higher quality life and obtain the things that you really desire to have out of life.
Here's the next one, number 6. I love doing these dramatically. Thank you for letting me do that. I must live like a hermit. I will never leave my home. Because basically, I can't afford to leave my home.
You know, I got to say, there are times when I just kind of want to do just that.
Larry's an introvert. He would be so down on like never leaving home.
Oh yeah. Give me a room full of books and a wind-up record player, and I'm good. I could just stay home. But except when I go for bike rides. But really, honestly, it doesn't mean you can't go out and do things and have fun. Once again, frugality is like putting a harness on a horse. If you don't have a harness on a horse or a bit in the mouth, the horse is just going to go and do all kinds of stuff. But once you harness that horse down, then you can go places and do things and have challenges before you. And that's what frugality really is. It's putting a harness on your budget and on your finances so that now you can tell your finances how you want to use them and where you want them to work for you.
Myth number 7. I must give up all things, even those things which are most important to me.
Well, once again, this is kind of the same as the one before that. I think frugality, by saving money back, holding back on areas that you really shouldn't be spending money on, allows you to have those things that are important to you, like maybe that really nice vacation or that nice car that you really like to own. If you have goals that are important to you, frugality can help you obtain those goals, and you do it with a peace of mind. You're not going into debt. You're not getting yourself out on a limb. Frugality helps you do it with just a really good root structure in place so you can move confidently towards buying or purchasing those things that are important to you.
Myth number 8. If I am frugal, I feel like I'm taking a vow of poverty. The next time you hear yourself saying, I will never, ever be able to do X, Y, Z, one of the things that really struck me as we were discussing this is that really at its heart, we are having a poverty mindset. I'm never going to be able to do this because, oh, poor pity me. I'm always going to be poor. I'm always going to be scraping to get from one month to the next. That's a poverty mindset. Poverty mindset is also very much not equal with frugality.
I love Dave Ramsey's saying about you're going to live like nobody else so that you can live like nobody else. And the idea is you're going to hold back and not just spend like you see your friends and maybe some of your family members spending money and going into great debts to have things that they want right now. You're going to hold back on some of those things so that later on in life you can have those things, but have them with great peace of mind.
I would say, and this might surprise some of you, tell us in the comment section if this surprises you. Larry and I are very frugal in a lot of areas of our life, but then when we reach a goal, we spend money and we do it joyfully.
Yeah.
I can't remember a time when we dropped a boatload of money and went, oh, I feel really bad about that, because we're nearly always prepared ahead of time to drop the money.
Yeah, I think that would equate to our trip that we took to the Smoky Mountains. That was, we didn't go real cheap on that trip, but we had such a great time and we really weren't worried about the money that we were spending on it.
Now, the only caveat there I will say is, like, if an emergency comes up and that costs us a boatload of money, if it's something we've not looked ahead, but we do have a fully funded 6-month emergency fund in place. If something happened, we would be able to afford it, but that might sting. Honestly, that might sting a little bit if we had to dip really hard into the emergency fund for something. But the emergency fund is there for that.
Well, and that happened to us back in the early 90s. We were planning a trip out east. We were going to go. Well, actually, we were planning a trip to the Smoky Mountains that year, and our car broke down. We had just purchased a station wagon.
Broke down like 3 times. It was so sad.
And I took it to the wrong place to get it repaired, and that just magnified the problem. It was a 4-barrel carburetor issue from just a nightmare. And we ended up having to buy another car. So our trip went from the Smoky Mountains to Wisconsin to a state park 60 miles away. And so it can happen. Number 9 myth is that frugality is just too hard. Now, this one confuses Hope and I a little bit. And I'm not saying frugality is easy, but think about this. If you're just saying, oh, it's just too hard to save money for the future. It's too hard to work this budget thing. Well, by the time you get into your 70s and 80s, if you haven't done some due diligence to put some money away and plan for your future, you're going to be working. Whereas a person that's working hard in their younger years to be frugal and to pack some money away for the future, it's going to be much easier for them in the long run to be frugal when they're younger.
We speak from experience, by the way.
Yeah.
So we did not begin really actively saving hard for retirement until Larry was in his 40s.
Oh, yeah.
We had some money stuck away for retirement, but not nearly what we could have had or should have had.
And if you haven't planned, let's say you're in your 50s now and you really haven't planned, well, start now. Don't just give up and not make an attempt to it. If you start now, you can get some pretty good headway on that before you get to retirement age. And by the way, if you're in your 70s and 80s and you're working and you love working, more power to you. No problem about that. I'll probably work into my 80s. I don't plan on quitting working. Right now, we're working on this channel. That is our job.
Believe it or not, 2 videos a week, guys, takes up about 30 to 35 hours of our week every single week. There's a lot of planning, a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes by the time you ever see this 20-minute video drop on YouTube.
Absolutely.
So it really is, for the both of us, it's a combined full-time job between the two of us to do what we do here on YouTube. And we love doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? If you love hearing us, do us a favor real quick, will you? Would you make sure you subscribe to Under the Median and make sure that you hit that thumbs up button for us, because that really does help us here on YouTube to have you do those 2 things for us. Here's kind of a further takeoff on the one we just talked about, that frugality is just too hard. I don't have to be frugal because I'll just get another job. You can get a second job if you want to. There's no shame in that. We've always had some sort of side gigs going on throughout 35 years of marriage. We've always had something that brought in a little extra income. We love side gigs. We're not saying we're against side gigs, but we're saying that if you aren't already maximizing the money that you make, bringing in more money may not be helpful.
Not going to help.
Because what you might wind up doing is just spending the extra money that comes in because you're not carefully guarding the money that is already there every single month. Yeah. I think it's got to be a 2-pronged approach. It could be that you really do need to get a second job to bring in more income. Sometimes that is the case. Yeah. But sometimes it's also the case that you have enough money coming in, you just don't know where the money is going after it comes in. So you need to really take care of that first before you go out and seek a second job.
Frugality helps you have the things in life that you really enjoy without going broke. It actually gives you a higher quality life.
If you're ready for some easy frugality tips that will help you to spend less and to save more, we did a video. We gave a whole lot of easy frugality tips. That video right over there, you might find it helpful.